This isn't a governmental thing. It's we worship God on Sunday. You worship God on, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
It's about worshiping God. Again, Jesus himself broke the Sabbath.
Right.
He broke the Sabbath. Again, Jesus himself broke the Sabbath.
The Sabbath,
about the Sabbath day,
honor the Sabbath,
became my Sabbath.
first day as the Sabbath.
the Sabbath.
The Sabbath.
The Sabbath. There is no other topic that causes so much controversy and division within our worldwide Christian church like this one. A topic that has so many different biblical interpretations. But it is a topic that we need to understand as Christians, especially in these last days. What is the Sabbath? Where does it come from? And is it still important today? Let's find out by going back to the basics and turning in our Bibles to the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. Let's go.
And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made.
Now, let's take those verses and compare them to Exodus chapter 16, verse 26.
6 days ye shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none.
From what we can gather from those verses, the Sabbath was instituted after creation on the seventh day of the week in Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. Now, no, the point that people will raise is that the word Sabbath isn't included within those verses. Therefore, one can't really say if it was instituted right after creation. But let me show you something interesting.
In the Strong's Concordance, the Hebrew word for rest in Genesis 2:2 is Shabbath. Strong's H7673, which means to cease, desist, or rest. The word Sabbath in Exodus 16:26 is Shabbath. Strong's H7677, derived from the same root, and it signifies a day of ceasing or rest. The connection lies in the shared root meaning, emphasizing that the Sabbath is inherently a day of rest, aligning with the original concept of ceasing from labor. Hence, from a biblical standpoint, the Sabbath was established immediately after the creation week. Genesis 2:2-3 shows that after God completed his creation in 6 days, he rested on the seventh day, blessing and sanctifying it as a day of rest. This act set a pattern for humanity, marking the seventh day as the Sabbath. Exodus 16:26 reaffirms this by instructing the Israelites to observe the Sabbath, highlighting its continuity from creation. This interpretation underscores that the Sabbath was divinely instituted right after creation as a perpetual day of rest.
Fact number 1. The Sabbath day was established by God on the seventh day. God was very specific in terms of which day he would declare as the Sabbath day. Fact number 2. The Sabbath day was established by God Himself for the whole of humanity. It is not an institution that was established by Jews for only Jews. Fact number 3. The Sabbath was established way before the declaration of the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. Fact number 4. The Sabbath was blessed by God and He Himself sanctified it. Sanctify. That's a biggish word, isn't it? I think we should look into it. Yeah, I think we should look into it.
The word sanctified in Hebrew is kadash, which means to set apart, make holy, or dedicate for a sacred purpose. In this context, God set the seventh day apart as special, marking it as a day of rest and spiritual significance. By sanctifying the Sabbath, God established it as a holy day from the very beginning, long before the giving of the Ten Commandments at Mount Sinai. This sanctification is foundational to the biblical understanding of the Sabbath as a perpetual and sacred institution.
God blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it. He set it apart and made it holy. So would it really be biblical if later on Jesus went ahead and broke it? No, it would not be biblical. In fact, let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 to 18.
Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For assuredly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the law till all is fulfilled.
From those verses, it's very clear that the mission and purpose of Jesus Christ was not to destroy the law, but to show humanity how to live it. He became the personification of the law. Therefore, it would not even be remotely possible for Jesus to break the Sabbath, because the Sabbath is part of the law. Paul addresses this as well in Romans chapter 3, verse 31.
Do we then make void the law through faith? Certainly not. On the contrary, we establish the law.
On the contrary, we establish the law. It just goes to show that under no circumstances can the law be made void. In fact, let me show you something else that speaks towards the relevance of the law today. Check this verse out.
The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness.
The law, the Ten Commandments, are as eternal as God Himself. Therefore, the Sabbath is as eternal as God Himself. Friends, please, don't let the world deceive you into thinking that the Sabbath is no longer relevant today. Because according to the Bible, it will be relevant forever. Therefore, Jesus could not have broken the Sabbath. Thank you for tuning in. In our next episode, we will be diving deeper into the relevance of the Sabbath in the Old Testament and also the relevance of the Sabbath within these last days. I am your host, Bonga Ndlovu. Same time, same place. See you next time on End Time Messages. God bless.